Hey, I'm Carrie with CR2F.
I'm Cleona, her daughter, and today we will be making butterflies. So you guys, you can use your iPad, and you can draw one, and then you can print it, and then you could hold it up in the sun. Oh, and you guys, look what I'm wearing. Butterfly.
So that's what that's what inspired, and butterfly skirt too.
Butterfly everywhere.
So we her shirt is what inspired this tutorial, and I want to tell them something neat about art is you can get inspired by almost anything. What's important is that you make it your own and you make it different, or you say where your inspiration came from and don't try and claim it as your own. So I did two different outlines for you. One of them looks like this and is inspired by Cleona's, but it's different by her shirt. And then I did another one that I liked the pointier shape. And so again, we did the outlines like we did in the rainbow unicorn. I used a fine point Sharpie this time for mine and a Sharpie pen for hers to do the outlines.
If you guys haven't seen our robot video, my mom and my brother's
turtle
video, we're gonna be editing the unicorn video soon. Oh
yeah, so they'll have seen the rainbow unicorn will be up before we post this one.
If you haven't seen that, I mentioned this. So I did this, but pretend that my mom or me accidentally paint on one of them. I would wipe it off.
Cleona loves this Sakura Koi thing that we have that it's a pen that will erase if you get paint somewhere that you did not intend to. It's meant to be, it says it's a coloring brush pen. A coloring brush pen. Some things I've seen it referred to as a colorless blender, but they're pretty slick. So, all right, so I am going to be doing a lot of today's painting with some of my fancier paints. I am going to do this butterfly primarily in greens and yellows, and I really like, and some of them are already on here. I got some new Daniel Smith paints. They are the ones, the Jean Haynes ones, and then I also I had some other colors on here from previous efforts. This is my Stash O fancy paints that some of them my mom had and gave to me, passed on to me. Some of them are just ones that I got or colors that I like. And then
she passed them on to her because my Mimsy and her mom and my Mimsy died. It was my Mimsy, but her mom.
That's right. And so anyway, so some of it was, but but you know, it happens. Yeah, but you're right. But some of these
happened to you.
Well, everyone has to at some point, I guess.
Yeah,
that's how that works. But we're going to move on to a happier topic.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so I'm going to use my Daniel Smith paints for this primarily. I have them on a little ceramic tray. So I'm going to use my Daniel Smith paints on a little ceramic tray primarily. Cleona wants to use her glitter paints. Let's do them under here so that people can see on yours.
Metallic paint.
Yeah, okay.
Metallic paint my mom got.
All right, set them down.
If you haven't seen our unicorn video, I used it and my mom used some of her white and some of my glittery metallic white.
And I want to remind you, you want to have a wet brush, you want to have a paper towel, you want to have clean water. You want to make sure that the watercolor paint that you're using is kind of soupy, kind of liquidy, like you don't want it to be too thick and gloppy or you're not using it at the right consistency. All right, so we're going to get started. And this applies for both mine and Cleona's. I want to make sure that when I'm painting, I do the lines of color that don't touch one another at first. Like I want to skip and do every other one so I can give them a chance to dry. if I wanted them to fade together, I could also totally do that and do them right next to one another so they would blend. So that kind of, it just depends on what you have in mind. So I'm just going to get some of my paint, and I'm going to start painting a stripe. Cleona, you want to start painting?
Yep. I'm going to start painting my butterfly. And you guys, when you use paint, you always dip your brush in water if it is not wet.
That's right, because it's watercolor.
Yeah, because you need water to make it go. It'll be better if you put water in it. You guys, so I'm going to start off with this really nice purple that I think is really nice, and it looks really cool to me. And I used it in the unicorn video. It was my first choice.
Because we are not yet, all right, I like it. Because we are not, do you want a smaller brush, Cleona?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, try this one.
Okay, it'll probably do.
Yeah.
I like it.
This is a kind of fanciful butterfly. You know, a cheerful, lighthearted, not necessarily realistic butterfly that I'm painting. Well, both of them aren't super realistic, but something that I am paying attention to is that even though my lines are a little different, and you could be more precise than I was if you'd like. I just kind of drew them for fun. So one thing that I'm doing with these lines is I'm making sure that I'm painting ones that are opposite of one another, the same color. I drew this in a kind of fanciful way, but I didn't have to. I could have just, I could do all sorts of different colors and do it all crazy, but I'm wanting this to have a little bit of consistency to it. Cleona, how are you going to do yours?
Well, I'm going to use my little brush for the little details, and the big details, I'm going to use my bigger brush. And you guys, be super delicate with the paint. If you get it on the outline, you guys, here's a tip with the thing, the marker thing that gets the paint. Once yours dries, you can just get whatever part was, painted on, or you can go over it with a darker color, so then you don't see it at all.
That's true too. So sometimes that colorless blender does not quite do everything I want it to, which is fine. But it means that I've had to paint over the outside. If you saw my, I posted on Instagram, if you saw my coronavirus, my COVID-19 painting, you would see that I had an outline or a background on it. And part of the reason I had that background was because I got some of my gouache bled, and so I had to cover it up. But it actually ended up looking really cool, so it definitely was making the most out of a strange thing.
Our neighbor that we gave it to, who was a doctor that was looking at COVID-19.
Yeah.
She loved the painting my mom made.
That's right.
She made the COVID-19 thing. If you look at it, it's really cool. And
Thank you.
We choose two colors, whereas it kind of had like blend in it. So and if you guys if you know what blending is, it's when two colors get into each other and it forms something really beautiful. My mom knows how to blend. She taught me how to blend.
That's right. So maybe I'll actually do one for them. One way, so these two are wet, right? Both of these colors. And I'm going to take a yellow and I'm going to first run it down the middle just so the color doesn't go as many places. And then I'm going to get my brush kind of damp and I'm just going to spread it out in hopes that some of this will blend together. Cleona is also talking about the way that you can drop wet on wet.
Yeah, wet and wet.
So this is kind of more of the bleed.
So you might dip your brush in water, then you get it, then you put it on and then you can put another color maybe.
Yeah. So, but I like that there will be some bleeding. And actually, because I want to do that, I'm going to make sure to re-wet this green that I did initially before I add any colors. The yellow here still looks wet. This one doesn't, but I'm going to add some water. One of the cool things about watercolor is you can add water and reuse your paint. So, all right, I'm going to add a pretty bright blue in here. Let's see what happens here. I didn't get a lot of paint on my brush. Ooh, Cleona, I like your purples in there.
Yep. So you guys, you can try and make it the same thing, or you can do it differently. Like sometimes I don't do something the same. If you guys can see, my mom normally has that thing, but now but this time I have one tip. If you guys saw, I have this Band-Aid on my arm, and I also have it on my leg.
Yep, she took a giant spill.
Yeah, but I was brave and I didn't, but I cried because it hurt. But luckily, one of our neighbors helped us. It was Charlotte's dad.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I mean, definitely we are practicing social distancing and being smart. But we were scootering in our neighborhood, which is within, I mean, they don't specifically say scootering here in our stay-at-home order, but I think if you can bike and you can run, you can scooter. I think it's in that spirit. And so we were scootering, and Cleona took a little spill. And one of our neighbors saw and stopped and asked if we were okay. And I said, hey, could I please have a wet paper towel to kind of clean her up before we head home? And he said, yeah, sure, I'll be right back. And he went and parked, and he got his first aid kit and came to help us and made sure that, you know, I got a Band-Aid out and took care of Cleona, and it was all very nice, and it's good to have good neighbors. So it wasn't a fun time that we had to deal with it, but it was sure nice that we had a good neighbor to help us. So, ooh, look, my yellow kind of made fun spots, and look at what the green is doing there. I'm enjoying this for sure. Yeah. And you know, if you wanted, you could be doing this this painting like I'm doing, or like Cleona's in different colors. You could be doing a rainbow. You could be doing it in pinks and oranges. Actually, Cleona's could look pretty cool if you started with dark pink where her purple is, and then expand it out to orange on the tips.
Yeah, I'm gonna make right here a little stripey. Like I'm gonna make it a little stripey. If you can see right here, right here, and then right here and here and here. The big parts of the butterfly, I am going to, you know, I am gonna have those kind of stripey. So I am gonna use like one of these or one of the twin tone markers, and I'm gonna get it, and then I'm gonna put stripes on it.
Yeah, so we call that line work at the end when you do it over the top, like she's talking about. That's line work. And I'm dropping I like what these did, but I'm dropping a little bit of blue in because I want it to blend a little bit better. So I get the fun texture, but without kind of the distortion in color that was happening. This turquoise can be a little bold, but I'm still going to use it just because the variety in intensity of hue is going to be important as well. So I am loving hearing how you guys are all painting, and I wanted to take a minute to say thank you very much to those of you who have shared my posts, followed me on Instagram, sent me a tip, told me you like it, text messaged me telling you I'm saving the day, or telling me I'm saving the day for you. I know that this is a hard time, and so it's really making me happy knowing that I'm helping in my own little way.
Yeah, it's like little, but your people like really like it. Like me and my brother George have been in a couple of her tutorials. Oh, and you guys, we are gonna be doing a postcard video. We are also going to be doing a elephant one. If you guys want to ask us, like if we could do one, it's fine. Oh, if you guys haven't seen our rocket ship video, our robot video, or my mom and George's
The
video.
sea turtle.
Yeah, the sea turtle. We're gonna be
The rainbow unicorn. I will probably put up my flower one before this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of ones to see.
Yep, it's gonna be So you guys go to my mom's thing and do more. Do just like you could see them. Oh, and you guys there's one more. If you haven't saw my mom's video on making the like the stuff you need, like
The
paints.
supplies.
Yeah, the supply video. You can go see that.
Yeah, there's actually 2 supply videos. You might not have known that, Cleona, but I did one where I talk about the basic supplies, and I did another one where you talk about other ones that you might need. George, I think, is going to come by and say hi for us.
Hey, George, you want to say hi?
Hi!
All right, George. All right, don't touch it, please. Okay, so we're back. So I have painted the body. I kind of like how my antennae look with just being filled in up here. I kind of wish I had done that one a little lighter. I'm going to see if I can sop up a little with the paper towel. You got to be really careful when you do this. It's very easy to accidentally drag your color places. And so I like how the body of the butterfly has some different variation to it. And so I'm going to get some yellow on my brush, just some really light yellow. And I'm going to drop it in at each of the necks. Not the necks, I mean like where it narrows. And I'm also going to add just some water down, like little water droplets. The rest of my painting seems to be pretty dry. And so I'm going to leave it how it is. And I'm going to look for any spots that I think I didn't get and fill them in with just take a wet brush, and you kind of saw me do this on the sea turtle. Just fill in some spots since I was just kind of playing with it. There we go. All right. Cool. Well,
Oh, and if you guys want, you can do some stuff in the background. And you can do that, like in the back. You can do that. You can put stuff in the background if you want. We probably won't have time to, but yeah.
yeah, and there's also, you could do a really light shadow if you wanted it to look more realistic.
Yep, and
Which you would do by getting a super, super, super light, diluted, almost, you can't even tell there's color in it. I'm not going to do it because mine is still wet, but you could fill in along the edges and then think about where the light would hit, right? So if I had a butterfly sitting on top of here, you can even look at, I mean, there's multi-directional light in our video, but if you look, you can see the outline of my hand here, and the shadow's a little darker right here. So that means that I would take this edge, and I'd take these edges, and this edge, and down here, and I would make this darker. And then because our eyes are funny, and it's not that the light isn't so harsh that there would be no shadow, I'd put an even more diluted color wherever was left. But you know, your antennae, they're not gonna have a shadow. So that's an option too, but I think it's kind of fun how it is. So I'm gonna leave mine. And I think we're gonna call it done, Cleona, but I'll show them what yours ends up like at the end. Does that work for you?
Yep. Oh, and if you guys can't tell, we'll be showing some of these to like what we recorded on these two things, we will be showing you, and yeah, so
Cool.
mhm.
All right, well, so Cleona, I'll show them when you're done, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you for watching, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.